Councilman Pouch, would you give the invocation?
Edora galande ham jali helix siva han savu deskiati no. Neona dejadosna iske yon hindo has to yukta again, huh? Oswati lovia jalagit skaduki. Father, we just thank you for all your blessings and thank you, Lord, for everything that you have provided and bless this meetings and in it, each and every one that's here. We thank you for everything. Amen.
Amen. Shelley, roll call.
Yes, sir. Keith Austin. Danny Callison. Here. Julia Coates. Sean Crittenden. Here. Joe Deere. Aye. Mike Dobbins. Here. Rex Jordan. Here. Johnny Kidwell. Here. Darrell Legg. Here. Wes Snowfire. Here. Dora Petskowski. Here. Joshua Sam. Here. Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Melvina Shotpouch.
Honey.
E.O. Smith. Here. Condessa Teehee. Honey. Victoria Vasquez. We have a quorum.
Okay. All right. At this time, I want to make an announcement. LA-04-20 allows councilors to remote attend the council meeting during extraordinary circumstances beyond the control of the tribal council. The current event of extraordinary circumstances is the pandemic of COVID-19. All right. I need a motion to allow remote attendance. And I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Shelley, would you take roll call for them?
Yes. Yes, sir. Keith Austin. Still not. Victoria Vasquez.
Ani.
Keith, are you there?
Does it seem to be?
I see him on the screen.
It looks like his, he's muted. His
He's
mic's
muted.
muted. Okay.
All right. If you had a chance to look at your minutes, could I have a motion? Second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, now we have our State of the Nation address from Chuck Hoskin Jr., our Principal Chief.
See you all, Mr. Speaker, members of the council. It's a pleasure to be back before you again this month. I know that you all have had a very busy day, and I appreciate the hard work of this council. I'll touch on a few items since we last visited on the subject of domestic violence, which I know is of great importance to this body. The Domestic Violence Task Force has been meeting. It should wrap up its work soon, and I look forward to seeing its recommendations. I know that the council will as well. I want to express my appreciation to this body, Councilor Teehee, and everyone on this body that considered legislation concerning domestic violence, I believe, today. I appreciate the efforts of this body on this subject. We've got to work together if we're going to continue to make progress on an issue that is complicated, but deserves our attention, and I certainly appreciate the council's attention to that today. It is Native American Heritage Month. Of course, in Cherokee Nation, it's always Native American Heritage Month, but we're glad that the country is celebrating it this month. Part of that celebration extended today to the White House Tribal Nations Summit. It's the first time this summit has been held in 4 years, and I can tell you it is a welcome return. It's virtual, of course, but it's an opportunity for tribal leaders to get together with our federal partners, various agencies. I appeared on a panel today about language preservation and education, but across the issues that everyone on this body deals with, the summit gave some attention to, again, some of those important issues. So it's good that we participate. It's going on tomorrow, and I think that you all probably have information to participate in that in some way virtually. There are a couple of areas that I would like to highlight, Mr. Speaker, where actions of this body are turning into some concrete action out into the communities. One is the Health and Wellness Fund Act that this council passed back in the spring. It committed historic amounts of money to health and wellness. That means behavioral health services, which we know we need to do more on, and also physical health services. And our first project under the banner of the Health and Wellness Fund Act is happening in Adair County, a wellness facility. This is a wellness facility that I think any community would love to see. It's going to be a $10 million facility, but our own study said that Adair County was where the need was the most critical, and we know that the need is also there elsewhere. So I have asked a task force to get together. It's Cherokee Nation staff, including a former council member, Kanan Duncan, who is leading that task force. There's going to be an evaluation of what the need is across the reservation. We know it's big and small. We know in some cases it'll take the form of a wellness center, as we're building in Adair County. It'll take the form of replacing the Marcoma facility here in Tahlequah. In other areas, it will be programming at the local community. It might be walking trails at our health centers. But there is a sense from this body and from staff and from our citizens that we need to do more. And I wanted you to know, Mr. Speaker and council members, that the legislation that you all passed is really being put into action in a way that I think helps the Cherokee people on that subject. There's another area that I'm very proud of and I know is important to this body, and that's workforce development. We know that we put a great deal of money into college scholarships. Since our last meeting, we announced that over the next 3 years, $29 million for Cherokees who want to go to career tech. Now, we were already helping, I think, to the tune of about $7 million last year, but we're going to boost that program up, because we know for our citizens, not everyone wants to go to college or needs to go to college, but they all ought to have a government that has their backs. And so I would spread the word to your constituents, and that includes, by the way, a number of at-large areas. The contiguous areas, if you look at our college scholarship map, the contiguous counties, that's the same eligibility for this program, so your constituents can go to Career Services to find out more information on that subject. That would not have been possible had this council not back in the summer passed the resolution that we proposed and worked on using the ARPA fund. So I wanted you to know, Mr. Speaker, that those actions by this council are being put into action for the good of the Cherokee people. We recently acquired the Greasy School building in Adair County. Very excited to announce that we'll have our second immersion language campus in that community. That'll do something for our language, and I think it'll do something for that community. So look for more information on that in the coming year as we develop that program. The council this evening, I believe, will be considering a resolution that you all passed at committee. It's a significant one. As chief, I always want to get buy-in and support and guidance and approval from the council when we do particularly major projects. And the resolution that's before you will commit historic sums to healthcare construction, the flagship of which will be a new hospital here in Tahlequah, replacing the Hastings Hospital, which is now undersized. It's a building that's still good. In fact, we want to repurpose it for our behavioral health mission. But we've got to build a new hospital first, and the Cherokee people deserve a state-of-the-art hospital. That's what we're going to build. It will cost a significant amount of money. I think there was some discussion at committee about the cost. The cost was always going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $400 million. The ARPA portion of that was around $250 million. That's what we originally submitted in a resolution. We updated that resolution today to make sure you saw the whole picture of construction. Some of the dollars we'll use will be healthcare dollars that we generate through our revenue. That, I think, is a sign of strength of the Cherokee Nation, that we can sit there and look at a menu of different funding sources and build, I think, one of the most ambitious healthcare projects in the history of the Cherokee Nation that's going to help us. And it's going to allow us to do, again, other things like behavioral health programming in the former Hastings building, or soon-to-be former Hastings Hospital. So that, I think, is what the Cherokee people expect us to do, and I appreciate the council taking this up this evening. I know Mr. Garrett will be on later, but I must pass on my praise to him, Cherokee Nation businesses, for the success in Arkansas. This is a success, Mr. Speaker, that is a result of some steady leadership from this body, from our businesses, and from the Office of Principal Chief across 2 administrations. Now, this was not an easy task in Arkansas. It certainly would have been easy along the way to get timid, to retreat from something that was new, to give in to some of the calls that we just shouldn't go into Arkansas. But we did, and we had, I think, the best and brightest, particularly business minds and legal minds, because we had to navigate some legal challenges in Arkansas, didn't we, to get to the success that we're at. We now hold the license to operate a casino in the state of Arkansas. Let's remember, though, Mr. Speaker, what the first victory was when we looked at what was happening in Arkansas. We saw that Arkansas was going to get gaming, and we saw that we had a gaming market in eastern Oklahoma. Now, those jobs were important. It was important for us not to sit on the sidelines. It was important for us to go into Arkansas and say that not only should the market be respectful of our market, but we should actually win that license in the market. So we had the second victory just last week when we got the license. These are good times for the Cherokee Nation, and rest assured, Mr. Speaker, there were plenty of people outside of the Cherokee Nation cheerleading for our failure, but we didn't fail. We were steady. We had, I think, some great leadership, particularly business leadership. And I think what you're going to see is increased revenue, an increased opportunity to continue to do this in other markets, because when the Cherokee people compete, more often than not, Mr. Speaker, we win, and I think we're proving it in the state of Arkansas. Finally, earlier today, I signed an executive order on employee compensation. We know that we've got the best workforce. We know we're the employer of choice, but we know we won't remain that way, being the employer of choice, if we simply rest and don't take action. So we have to look ahead. So what the executive order today, Mr. Speaker, does is it says we will get to a $15 minimum wage by October 2025. Now, we have to take it incrementally. We're a government. We have a finite budget, but we have to set a target. And so on an average of about $1 a year, we'll see that minimum wage go up. But we have to do more than just raise the minimum wage, because we know if we raise the minimum wage, it puts a great deal of pressure and compression on the wage structure. People that have worked here a long time may feel like their value has been diminished unless we do something to adjust how they're paid. So we're going to do the most comprehensive study of our pay structure. That's the other part of this executive order, to make sure across the board, number one, we're paying the market rate to our people. And number two, that as we raise that minimum wage, we make sure that everyone gets an opportunity to earn more. I think if we continue to do that, particularly if we look years down the road, as this executive order does, and we work together on the budget, because it is going to be a budget challenge, I think we can continue to have a pay and benefits package that's worthy of the Cherokee people who earn it, that serve us every day. That's 4,000 men and women. This also, I think, will send a signal to our other entities, including Cherokee Nation businesses, that they should also take some comparable steps, because it's important that we keep things level across our businesses and our government so that everybody has a chance to succeed and to earn a good living. One other part, Mr. Speaker, and I'll close, of the executive order, we know that our minimum wage workers right now, particularly with what's going on in the economy, do have some struggles, and so we'll announce more details of it, but we're going to commit a significant amount of funds to boost their earning power beginning in early 2022. So they essentially get to about $15 an hour in earnings in what we think is a very creative program, again, to help those entry-level workers earn more money and learn more tools for success for their future finances. So stay tuned for more of those details. We will provide those. None of this would be possible without the support of the Council of the Cherokee Nation. Mr. Speaker, you and your colleagues have my admiration for the work you do. Waddell.
Thank you, sir. All right. Action of unfinished business and unpending committee reports. Monthly report. Is Mr. Garrett on the here yet? Awesome.
Hello, Mr. Speaker.
Hello, sir. Pretty exciting news. Been waiting to hear from you all day.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be with all of you this evening. Yeah, the headlines are great. I'm so excited to be here and share the news and some of the detail with you. It's been a heck of a week. Of course, 2 weeks ago, we got the good news from the Arkansas Supreme Court that the competing applicant had been deemed ineligible. That left us, as we discussed the last time we were together. And Friday, the Arkansas Racing Commission met and voted by a 3-2 margin to rescind the license previously issued to Gulfside and to grant the license to Cherokee Nation businesses and Legends Resort and Casino. We have the actual license. It's a thing of beauty. It represents a lot of teamwork, incredible effort by so many of our colleagues. And as the chief said, I mean, really not possible without the support of Principal Chief Baker, now Principal Chief Hoskin, as well as the Tribal Council and the Council of Cherokee Nation. I mean, it's been something that really required the full family to come together and rally behind. It will be something that pays off for us for generations, and it's a great victory for all of us. It's a very good gaming market. It's a market that will have only 4 licensees, lots of room for us to grow, and we're excited to tackle it. It's going to be a really premier project that we think will make everyone on the council and all Cherokee citizens very proud. So we're excited.
Well, that's great. That's great news,
yeah.
sir. When do we expect things to start moving in that direction?
Well, we are reactivating all of our architect and design team so that we can continue building out. We had about 30% of our plans already designed. We'll be starting that process back. In fact, it's already started. We'll be meeting with the planning officials in Pope County and the city of Russellville to work through the entitlement process that is required. So we're up and running. We are looking forward to addressing all of the concerns in terms of how the development will be, where will the roads be, all of the sort of nuts and bolts of developing a large-scale project like this. So we're working already hard on the project, and it'll probably take somewhere in the the 4 to 8, 9 months of development and approval process and before we start construction. Some of that will depend on just how quickly the process unfolds.
Sounds good,
But,
sir.
happy to answer any questions on that front, and do have a couple of other items I wanted to share with the council this evening.
Does anybody have any comments or questions for Councilman Nofire?
Just a quick question. I know it's been a long battle over there in Arkansas. I can't quite get a taste for the temperature there, but I know that there's a lot of opposition to bringing a casino into Pope County. Do you foresee anything else in the future, though, dealing with the citizens of Pope County trying to resist and file a lawsuit to prevent us from actually erecting a casino there?
Well, there has been a petition circulating that has been sponsored by some of the anti-casino elements in Pope County. I don't think that is a realistic, their chances of success are particularly realistic. They have to obtain 90,000 signatures by the end of June. Then they have to have a ballot title that is approved by the Secretary of State and as being a valid title. Then they have to run a campaign. By that time, I just don't think that you will see, first of all, I think there's some real legal issues, which we won't necessarily go into here. So the short answer to your question, I think there may be a Hail Mary. I think it'll not have the success they hope, and we'll be building a casino in Pope County.
Okay. Just, I could say, just maybe a recommendation where I come from is anything we could do on the prevention side ahead of time before we even open the doors or start much erecting a casino is trying to get some sort of addiction gambling program set up there. So that way the citizens know that, yeah, it's entertainment, but it's also can cost a lot of people lives. I know there's just as much good as you see in financial income coming to the areas that you have casinos. You also see just as much downside. I wager that on my side all the time internally, whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. But maybe if there's a way we could work with the citizens there to let them know that, whatever we can do while we're bringing entertainment of gaming to the area with a lot of employment, we're also looking for the prevention of the downfall of having a casino in the area that they are trying to resist. So, but anyways, appreciate it, and that would be something that if you could look into maybe doing would be greatly appreciative, at least from where I'm sitting.
Well, I appreciate that and couldn't agree more. Of course, we're very practiced at that with 10 casinos right now and a history of operating. We have probably the most aggressive gambling prevention, behavioral health approach to this. And we're already working with local officials in Pope County, law enforcement and otherwise, to address some of those issues. So we will invest in that. We will certainly have our protocols in place, because I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, we certainly look at ourselves as providers of entertainment, and we, want to make sure that we're not creating instability for different people or different families. So thank you for that.
Appreciate it, Speaker.
Yes, sir. Anybody else? Okay, I'd just like to say that, gosh, it's been a grind. So many twists and turns in these lawsuits and licenses, and you guys stayed hooked. You made it clear from the start, why we needed to do this. We needed to protect our interests at West Siloam and Roland, and the projection of the money that would have been lost, if it would have went the wrong way. So, you've been defenders of our tribe this whole time and our establishments. And gosh, I'd like to say thank you for just saying so. Times it was tough and it looked bleak at times. And you guys, and I even talked to you, and you always said there's, our goal is true. There's a chance. I think we have a great chance. Just you guys stayed positive and you stayed hooked, and it, here we are. But even, if you look at now, if something did happen and we didn't get that casino, worst case scenario, somebody else didn't get it either. So, our interests are still protected. I mean, that is so majorly important. I know that we will have, but just saying, you guys did what you needed to do one way or another to protect our interests, and gosh, I'm excited about this. This is big news.
Thank you for that. I mean, it certainly did have a protective component to it. It's also a wonderful market. It's a market that we look forward to growing and generating a lot of economic development for the area, but also generating operating income for our shareholders. So we're terribly excited about it, and thank you for the support.
Anybody else? All right, thank you for the great news, sir.
Absolutely. I would just maybe add two last-minute things, Speaker, if time permits.
Sure.
First of all, I want to thank the chief and his administration for the announcement today. CNB looks forward to joining in the comprehensive evaluation of the wage review, and look forward to also meeting the goals outlined by the chief's executive order. It is a complicated process, as the chief alluded, with the impact and compression on different wage levels, but we're committed to doing the work alongside the nation and look forward to rewarding the many hardworking men and women that make our company great. So I wanted to share that with council. The last item I wanted to share this evening was, we at CNB, we certainly work hard to generate operating income and dividends for the shareholder. But we also are joining you in defending and preserving our culture promoting economic development. And to that end, we recently formed a new LLC that will reside right beside Cherokee Nation Entertainment and Cherokee Federal to focus on the cultural aspects, the responsibilities we have as a business to preserve and promote the culture as well as economic development. So this Cherokee Nation Cultural and Economic Development LLC, which will be run by Miss Molly Jarvis, who most of you have worked with closely over the years. And that will include things like the Cherokee Nation Film Office, OCO, Voice of the People, Cherokee Nation Cultural Tourism. So all of those different departments will roll up into this LLC, and I think allow us to really provide the focus and dedication that we all want to provide the preservation of culture and also the economic development of the reservation. So I just wanted to share that with you, and certainly happy to answer any questions, but thank you again for your support through the Arkansas campaign. Appreciate it very much.
All right, does anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Garrett? All right, thank you, sir. You have a good evening.
Thank you all. Appreciate it very much.
All right, that brings us down to old business, none pending. New business. Councilwoman Paczkowski?
Yes, I would like to ask to amend the agenda to add 3 items. A resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation to lease tribal trust land in Adair County, and an act amending Legislative Act 01-15 relating to the Citizen Committee on Compensation, and number 3, the resolution for Marshall Buell reappointment. And I put that in a form of motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Okay, those items will be seen as 4, 5, and 6. All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, number 1, under the Rules Committee. EO, you want to take that?
Yes, sir. It's a resolution confirming the reappointment of James Simmons as Commissioner of the Housing Authority, the Cherokee Nation Board of Commissioners. I put this in form of a motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Number 2, Julia, will you take that, please?
This is an act amending Title 26, Section 11C of the Cherokee Nation Code annotated to require the Cherokee Nation Election Commission to amend their rules, regulations, and forms upon passage of legislation by the council. I move for its approval.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. And out of our Executive and Finance Committee, number 3, Melvina, would you take that?
An act amending Legislative Act number 44-21, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2022, Mod 1, and declaring an emergency. Put that for a motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 4, out of Resource Committee, Councilman Crittenden, would you take that, please?
Yes, sir. Resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation to lease tribal trust land to Adair County 911 Regional Trust Authority located at the Cherokee Nation Complex in Stillwell, Oklahoma. Put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Out of the Rules Committee, number 5, Doc, would you take that?
This is an act amending a Legislative Act 01-15 relating to the Citizen Committee on Compensation, and I move for its approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 6, Councilman Kidwell, would you take that? Or do you have it? Okay. Dora, take that, please.
It's in the Rules Committee.
It's in the rules part. It's the reappointment of Shannon Buell.
A resolution confirming the renomination of Shannon D. Buell as Marshal for the Cherokee Nation. I put that in the form of a motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Aye. Okay, motion carries. Okay, that's, finishes up our new business. Is there any announcements? Sean?
Yep, 22nd. Food distribution, 4 to 6. Carson Park, lines will be long. We'll have food. Give out as many as we can. Very well intended. We hope we reach a whole lot of folks, so come out there if you'd like. Thank you.
Darrell?
Real quick, same thing tomorrow at Gore, from 4 to 6. Our food distribution for Districts 5 and 6 will be held there.
Melvina?
I want to request prayer for a Pickle family, their tribal member. Their son was working on electrical stuff on their house, and he got electrocuted today and passed away. Robbie was an outstanding wrestler when he was in high school.
He was. Anybody else? Joe Dia?
November 18th, we're doing our holiday giveaway at 11 a.m. So 500 boxes, and then when it's gone, it's gone. Just head to the house. So thank you.
Julia?
Thank you. I'd like to also acknowledge the passing of two at-large citizens. The first is Joe Renteria, who was active with our San Diego at-large organization. He passed away at the age of, I believe, 102, if not 103.
Wow.
He was actually a citizen of the Kumeyaay Nation because his father was, and that's where he lived, but he was eligible for citizenship in our nation on his mother's side, so I want to acknowledge that. Also, Susan Greco, who was with the San Antonio organization and has been active with that group for a long time as well, recently passed, so please keep them in your thoughts.
Anybody to my left? Candessa?
I would also add to asking for prayers for the family of Nancy Smith, a woman, an elder who we recently lost, sending our love and thoughts to her family, and also to the family of Linda Ketcher, a long-time social worker and advocate for children's welfare. We lost both those lovely women since our last meeting, and just wanted to acknowledge their passing.
Wes?
Yeah, just prayers for Terry McLemore, one of our first language speakers. Also, Maggie Nofire, she was one of our first language speakers. She gave a lot to the area up there in Collinsville. She's also the mother of Wes Studi. That's something that we lose people like that on a regular basis, and it's sad we lose part of our culture and language every time we see one of those names come across the board. So just thoughts and prayers with their family, and yeah, appreciate that.
Danny?
Mr. Speaker, once again, Houston Smith, Speaker, that has passed from us. We'd like to offer our condolences and prayers to his family.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, I'd just like to announce that Thursday in Delaware County, food distribution for 9 and 10 will be at Kansas. Lineup will start at 4 o'clock at the high school, not before. We need to respect the school in that they have to let kids out and the buses have to come in, so we're going to start lining up at 4. I'll post on Facebook. But one other thing, there was some very good discussion today, very good points made by a lot of you, and that's good for everybody to hear. And it's good to hear another point that, you may not agree with, but you hear that side and you understand that, you know what, yeah, I see where you're coming from. So, that's important that we have good discussion like that, and today was a good day. Our next Tribal Council meeting will be held on Monday, December 13th at 5 at the Tribal Headquarters at W.W. Keeler. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Have a motion and a second. We're adjourned.